I think we are live. I think. We're going to try it anyway. This is Regalwood Rasslin, episode 18. 18 episodes of this nonsense, this chicanery, this just absolute worthless waste of your time. We've done 18 of them, and still struggling and hanging on by the thinnest of threads. But we're here, and we are live. It is a Friday, as they say, the 31st day of July, 2026 in the year of our Lord. 1 day away from August and 2 days away from the big Abbebille event that I'm going to talk to Hoss Haygood here in just a second. Before I do that, really quickly, I'm your humble host, the most humble host on the planet Earth. Probably the most humble person on the entire planet. Of course, that's your lordship here. I am the overlord of the wasteland, the engineer of combat, the big boss with the hot sauce and the star of this and every show that I appear on. Of course, Ricky Regal, Richard James Regal, to those of you who are not close friends. We are live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Rumble, and Kick. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. We are live on all those good old platforms. And of course, if you're not familiar with them, the kind of the hub of all things Regal is the good old YouTube channel. That's Wrestle Radio 860. Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. Anything you want to know about this program, what we've done in the past, what we're doing currently, and what we'll even do in the future is all housed right there on the good old YouTube channel, Wrestle Radio 860. Twitch, of course, Regalwood 6969. Facebook, Ricky Regal, R-I-K-K-I. R-I-K-K-I, it's very important. Regal. Rumble and Kick, of course, are Regalwood, and there is your big old mascot, who, of course, is the he's almost as humble and awesome as I am. Almost. He's working on it. He'll get there directly. All right. Got a lot to do today. Jam-packed show. Got, of course, our guest, our featured interview guest today is Deon Johnson. Haven't talked to Deon in some years. I will tell you before we get into that, there are a few little, and as always, what's our motto here? We're the technical difficulties champions of the undisputed, undefeated technical difficulties champions of the world right here at this podcast. Very few podcasts can claim that title. Very few. And in fact, I don't know of any. I may be the very first reigning and defending world champion of technical difficulties. There are some sound issues with Deon's thing, and we kind of go in and out a little bit. So it's a great interview. It's a good chat with Deon. It's not your average, ordinary interview. It's not like we're just starting all it, because I've known Deon for a good long time. And so it's more or less just he and I chatting, reminiscing, and talking about some old times and some old stories. So that's coming up a little bit later in the show. The big interview with Deon Johnson. I don't think it's unlistenable. I couldn't get into the edit. I don't edit because, again, one-man operation. What do you want from me? You're lucky I get this thing on every day. And I was running by the skin of my teeth to get on today. I was literally just throwing everything together at the last minute. So I couldn't get in there to do some editing that probably needed to be done with the interview. And if I ever hire staff, maybe eventually we'll get that done. But it is what it is. It's a good chat. It's an hour long. So if you can't catch all of that today, or if you want to catch it in the future, it of course will always be up there after the end of this program on the good old YouTube channel, Wrestle Radio 860. All right, I got some news. I got some other things I want to talk about, but right now, because he's pressed for time, he's a busy man. He's got a lot going on. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the one and only Hoss Haygood. Stand by. Let me get Hoss in here. Hoss, let me get you. Stand by, brother. I'm bringing you in right now. There he is. Hang on. Let me get some sound. Hoss Haygood, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Hoss.
Hey, brother Ricky.
Welcome back to the show. Let me say. Had you on a few weeks ago to talk about things, and so I wanted to get you in here today because, like I said in the opening there, we are 2 days away from the big old event over there. And I would say before and I wanted Hoss to come in and do a rundown of the big card. I will tell you, I've said it to anybody who will listen, and I've said it to you in private, but you have done a lion's share of work on this thing, man. And from a guy who put on events, you know my stuff. You were there. I know how tough it is. I know how tough it is. I know there's a lot that the people don't see and people will never see. So I just want to congratulate you on all the work you've done, man. Because nobody can say you haven't worked yourself crazy on this event. So tell everybody that may not know about it. Tell them who you are and tell them what's going on Sunday over there in Abbeville.
Before I get into that, Rick, I do want to say some of what you done probably rubbed off on me, and that's probably where I got a lot of this from. I appreciate everything that you've done for me over the years, put me on your shows.
I appreciate you saying that. I do.
And I mean it wholeheartedly. The reason why I've been busting my tail for this show is this is not for me. This is not for WrestleForce. This is not for the guys on the show. This is for the community. Abbeville, South Carolina is near and dear to my heart. It's the county that I grew up in, and this ball field was built in the early '80s, and it needs a lot of renovation to move forward so that the youth of tomorrow will have a great facility to play recreation sports, have a clean, facilities, new bathrooms, new concession stands, brand new laser level fields. So just a tremendous opportunity for the community to have something great for the youth. And we have spared no expense on this show in promoting to draw eyes to this community outside of Abbeville. With that being said, you have helped us promote this show with your podcast. We really appreciate everything that you've given us, interviewing guys and gals that's going to be on the show. 92.9 WZLA, Benji Greason and Lacey with the Southern Fried Morning Show for over a month have talked about this show every morning, Monday through Friday. They have also had people on their radio show talking about it, and getting the word out. Newspaper, paper in town. We've done everything we can to make sure that everybody knows that this event is going on. With that being said, give you some of the rundowns of the matches that I know that are already booked. We have Joey Reimer versus Chris Prince. These two guys are Carolina locals, and they have been tearing up the indies lately, and they're going to give a tremendous match to the fans. We have Clara Carter versus Savannah Evans. Savannah Evans is a former TNA knockout, and she is not one to mess with. And I think Clara is going to have her hands full with Savannah. Let's see who else we got. We got myself versus BJ Hancock with the fabulous Playboy Bob Keller has now entered the chat. I was kind of looking forward, man, to working BJ because we've locked up a few times, including one time at your promotion, and I was like, maybe BJ ain't feeling like the Modern Classic anymore. That's maybe why he had to hire his new manager or current manager. He had him before, Bob Keller.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got. We have got a winner's choice battle royal. The winner of this battle royal will get a shot at participating other promotions such as RWA, OSCW, APW Chester, and I believe Viral might be one of them. I could be wrong. But whoever wins that battle royal has a chance to take a shot at whatever title that is available in those promotions, which is a big deal. So you're looking at 20, maybe 30 guys. And as a matter of fact, on your show, you had a guy announce himself that wasn't even booked on the show.
He did that.
Ken Magnum.
He did do that.
Now, Ricky, I'm gonna tell you, man.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Ken Magnum, and Ken Magnum was there when I started my wrestling journey at NCW in Greenville, South Carolina. But I've never seen this side of Ken Magnum before, and I'm a little bit worried that we're gonna have WrestleForce is gonna have to get some security at the door until we can get this straightened out. But yeah, Ken said he's gonna be there, and people have kind of announced they're going to be in the Battle Royal on other platforms as well, including Facebook and Instagram. So everybody and their brother that's in the wrestling business is wanting to be a part of this show. It's really hot right now, and I'm pretty proud of the fact of WrestleForce has stepped up and really promoted the heck out of this show. We in our main event, we have got the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, along with Luke Gallows' son C.J. Gallows, versus John Schuyler, Nathan Cruz, and the former WrestleForce champion Cam Jackson. He just recently lost it to John Schuyler.
Oh wow!
But him and John Schuyler are, they're good friends with each other, and I think they're going to see eye to eye to see what they can do with the Good Brothers. Let's see. I know I'm leaving somebody out. Look, if I left you out, we have put all. Oh, excuse me. I forgot about my boy Chase. You did have Chase
Emery
on the show as well.
Yeah.
Chase is going to be facing a new up and comer, Keo Van Du. He is a Cambodian professional wrestler.
Yeah.
I've known this kid since he started, and he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown man. Let me change that.
Yeah.
He is a grown man, and he's ready to give the viral Chase Emery a run for his money.
I think you had Ken Dixon on the card too, don't you, Hoss?
Yep. I do have Ken Dixon. You had Ken Dixon on the show as well.
Yeah.
Ken Dixon will be facing Zuka King.
Yeah. Well,
so that's going to be a barn burner right there, because those two guys are very hot on the indies right now. Ken just come back from a big show on the Jersey Shore. I know Zuka King wrestles all over the country now, including a promotion down there in Louisiana run by Luke Hawks, Wildcat Professional Wrestling. So these two are not slouches, and they're going to keep people on the edge of their seat during this match.
It's a stacked card, man. It really is, and just some of the bookings that y'all have been able to, or WrestleForce has been able to secure, is fascinating. I mean, like you said, the good international talent that's been all over the world are coming right there to Abbeville, man. Hoss, I would tell you that's a big deal.
Yeah, Ricky, you're right, man. For people that are currently on TV,
yep,
and for us to be able to get them on the show, I mean, you got John Schuyler on TV every week,
yep,
on TNA Impact. You got Nathan Cruz, who is on AEW / Ring of Honor every week. You got Savannah Evans, is she still all over the top indies? You got Carl and Gallows, and you got Luke, which are currently hot on MLW.
Yep.
Which is filmed in Charleston, South Carolina, by the way. Big shout out to MLW for using our state for their platform. But yeah, man. And all these guys have made appearances on TV. Keo Van Du has made appearances on AEW TV, WWE TV. I'm sure I've seen Chase a time or two. So all this talent that's on this card, and including Ken, I know Ken's made a lot of appearances. Ken was at he made a appearance at WrestleMania. So all these people on this card have been on TV, or going back to TV, or future TV stars. So there's not going to be a slouch of a match.
Yeah, no, it is like I said, it's a stacked card, and you and WrestleForce have worked to a lot and very hard. And I know, again, from just doing it myself, I know behind the scenes there's stuff that you guys have done that nobody will ever understand unless you've done it. And having done it, man, I all the respect in the world, because y'all have worked super duper hard on that thing. I caught a couple of the interviews that the radio station over there in Abbeville did. They've done an excellent job. I know they've been selling tickets right there out of the radio station. Let me ask you this, Hoss: are their tickets still available? Because I know this thing is going to be a sellout.
Man, it's getting close, man. All the ringside tickets are flying. I know in the past 2 days, I know we've sold over 60 ringside seats from the radio station in the past 2 days.
Wow.
And I'm urging people, and they're still coming and calling Benji. As of today, he called me this morning and said, hey, people are still coming by the station and buying tickets. So if you do want a ringside seat, I will be available. I'm in town right now. I'm running around Greenwood tying up some loose ends, and I'll be tying up some loose ends tomorrow. That's why I got a big knot the size of Texas in my stomach right now, because I want this to be perfect.
I know the feeling.
You know
I
what
do.
I'm feeling.
I do.
Yeah, because I want everything to be so perfect, man.
Yeah,
I am
I
a
know.
perfectionist when it comes to anything.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll tell
yeah,
you. I'll tell you, man. Even though, and again, just from having done it, even though I knew how much hard that we had worked on it, and how much work we had done, and how much promotion, and how much paper in the town, and everything, I was never happy until I walked out and looked and saw that building full, and then I could be like, breathe. You know what I mean? So I know exactly what you're feeling.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're feeling, and I get it, and I sympathize with you. But I tell you what. Keep yourself a good cold beer ready, because you're gonna need it when you're done.
I'm ready.
And you're gonna do.
I think I'm gonna have to go get me a case, Ricky.
Yeah, I think you should, and I mean it was certainly, it'll be so refreshing and so just worth it once it's all said and done. But I know it's gonna be successful, Hoss. Yeah, again, y'all have done a ton of work on that thing, and I'm proud of you for what you've done, and I know it's going to be a success. Like I said, just tons of international talent is landing right there in Abbeville, right here in the upstate of South Carolina, and probably, I'll be honest with you, probably one of the biggest shows to have hit this area in quite some time.
Oh
So
man, that feels pretty good within itself. I mean, I know we are deep rooted in professional wrestling in this area, and there's a lot of potential. But if I could give anybody some advice on here that's running shows in the area,
yep.
Step your game up and
Yes.
represent your state. Represent this state. Don't just put a product out there because you can.
Yeah.
Put your heart and soul into it, and then you'll reap the benefits later, I promise. I know I'm stressed out right now, and like I told Ricky, I'm stressed out because you can't breathe till it's over.
Right. That's right.
But put some effort into it. Just don't put a product out there, and because what's going to happen, people are going to eventually say, "This is not professional."
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to want to spend their money on what we call t-shirt wrestlers, or you know, I don't want to use any other derogatory words, because I want everybody to get along with each other in this industry and work together and make it better than the way you found it.
I think, Hoss, not to belabor it, but I think that can happen. I mean, and I'm glad you brought up the battle royal thing, because I will tell you that cooperation between those federations to work together to host a future championship match out of this battle royal is something that's new to me. And congratulations for putting something new and injecting some new stuff out there. That's impressive, and I for one appreciate that, because it's look, you and me both know we've been around a long time. It's hard to do anything that's fresh and new, and to have something like that's out there. That's impressive, and congratulations on being able to make that happen.
It's awesome to be a part of it, man. When the general manager of WrestleForce told me, what was on the line with this battle royal, I was like, man, that's tremendous, because all these promotions are hot right now.
Yeah.
If you look at some of the shows that OSCW puts on, they bring in top talent like every show. RWA, same thing. APW Chester is a very hot independent promotion. I've had the blessing of working there a couple times in my career, and they always have a packed house. So it's something to be said that professional wrestling is alive and well in this area, and if everybody continues to work together, maybe the big dogs will start looking down here for some developmental deals.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a big deal, and it's very. It does speak volumes to the companies that are involved, and of course WrestleForce for stepping up and making it something that everybody can be a part of, and everybody can be proud to be a part of. And you're right, man. I know that people have egos, and there's long-standing histories of this, that, and the other. But end of the day, it should be about the thing that it's about, right? It shouldn't be about me. It shouldn't be about this person, that person, the other person. It should be about the bigger picture. And from what I've seen you guys doing, man, you're doing it right. And again, I'm just proud of you. And I wish you nothing but the best. And I know this thing's gonna be successful. So afterwards we'll drink one together, a nice cold one.
So is that a little bit of foreshadowing, sir?
Maybe. I'm going to do everything in my power to get there, man. I really am. It's right around the corner from where I'm at, so I'm going to do everything in my power to try to get there. I really am, because I want to see it. And I want to shake your hand and hug your neck, because you've done a good job, and I appreciate it. And thank you for the shout out for what we've done in the past. And what else before we get you out of here? How do people get a hold of Hoss Haygood?
You can find me on Facebook at Hoss Haygood. You can find me on Instagram, John Hoss Haygood, and you can also find me on TikTok. I make a couple funny videos here and there at _.
Oh no,
Hoss.
I think we lost Hoss right there at the last minute.
You hear me?
Do you still hear me, Hoss? I lost your visual.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
I can't hear him. I can't see him. All right, I think we got it across, though. I think we got the point there, what we're doing and what's going on Sunday. Appreciate nothing but the best for Hoss, and I do appreciate him coming in and popping in and running down that big card. Going to take a super short, quick break. I got something I've got to check really quickly. I'll come back. We'll do a little bit of news, and then we'll get to our big interview with Deon Johnson, and that's all coming up in 30 seconds right here on The Big Show. Episode 18 rolls on Regalwood Rasslin. Stand by. All right, back here on Regalwood Rasslin. I got too many titles of too many things floating around in my and loosely like marbles rolling around in my brain. You should hear the things that go on in my head. But episode 18, Regalwood Rasslin. I appreciate those of you who are with me, who will join me in the future. We are live right now on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. Of course, the YouTube is Wrestle Radio 860, Twitch Regalwood 6969, Facebook Ricky Regal, RIKKI, REGAL, Rumble and Kick, of course, or Regalwood. Man, I hate we lost Hoss right there at the end, but I mean we got everything in that we wanted to get in, and certainly he got to tell you how to get a hold of him. And from what I understand, there are still tickets available. I think doors open at. I think the doors open. I tell you, I think so. I'm reading the chats, and of course, Wanda and Cruiser. And Cruiser's now joined the Wanda thing of rushing me through the damn show. I know that I'm not that entertaining, and I know that you hate to hear my voice for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours straight. I get that, but you two don't have to sit in there and keep needling me to get the interview guest on. He'll be on when I get him on, and if you keep messing with me, I'll hold him up for another week. How about that? Because in this Regal's house, I hold the power, by God. So you two, I'll kick you out of the chat room and then kick you out of Regalwood podcasts from this point forward. Don't have me to deem it so, because being the overlord and all that kind of stuff, I do wield that power. But Hoss has done a great job. He has worked his butt off on this thing, and having done it, I get it, and I wish them nothing but the best. I hope they have a giant successful show, and I hope they make enough money to build that thing twice over there in the ball field they're wanting to build over there in Abbeville. All right, a little bit of news, not much, because God forbid we don't get to Deon. A little bit of news this week coming out of the WWE. I don't know if you saw it or not, but apparently Rusev, who I didn't even know was back because, again, I don't watch it, no-sold a finish in the ring there, and I guess it was this Javon Evans. I don't know. Again, I'm not as familiar with the new talent as I probably should be, especially for somebody who does a weekly wrestling podcast. I should probably watch the product, right? But this Javon Evans gives Rusev, I think it's like a modified diamond cutter or stunner, some kind of combination or variation. Rusev takes 1, 2, 3, immediately rolls out and walks to the back. No selling the move and everything like that. There was word initially that there was heat on Rusev for doing that, and then it turned out that Rusev was claiming he was injured at some point, some kind of nerve injury, and he couldn't feel his hands, and he was kind of, I guess, from having had a stinger at one point in my career, I understand that those things are terrifying. And so according to Rusev, it was an injury he was worried about. He wanted to get to the back and get checked pretty quick. But initially there was some heat that he was angry at his spot within the company. Maybe he's not getting where he thinks he should be or getting the rub or push that he feels as though he should. It is what it is. Things happen. Those injuries will scare you. And Rusev's been around long enough now to where those injuries actually mean something. So who knows? But if he is injured, God bless, and if not, maybe he'll get to where he's trying to get at some point in his career. There's something interesting in the podcast and broadcasting worlds. May not interest you, the fan, the general wrestling fan, but it's interesting to me because I do this show, and as I've cried and lamented many a time right here on this self-same program, it is definitely difficult to get guests. It's almost like pulling teeth. I mean, it literally, I have the one today, and I will just be honest with you. You know me, I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to tell you the God's truth. I have this week's guest that's already done, and I have another one lined up for next week that's really a good interview. I'm very proud of it, actually. But after that, I got nothing. And it's very tiring and tiresome to try to continue to book, and pull these teeth. And again, I've said it 1,000 times. I have zero budget here, so I can't pay you to come on, be a part of the show. But the platform is open to anybody who wants to come in and get themselves over. Not that we're over, but to come in and do their thing to get the word out about themselves to the extent that we can here on this particular program. But I tell you all that to tell you this. The WWE has taken over, and as those of you who don't have satellite radio, this will mean nothing to you. I've had satellite radio pretty much since the inception, back when it was two separate companies, Sirius and XM, which of course they've since merged. And now it's one company, Sirius XM. But Dave LaGreca, and I don't know if you know Dave LaGreca or not, but he does a radio show there on Sirius. It's not a podcast, it's a legitimate extraterrestrial radio show because it's beamed in from satellite. And he's done that show on there for a long time. It's called Busted Open. If you haven't heard it, it's a good listen. I think sometimes he leans a little bit too much into some of the talent who co-hosts with him. But he started off, he was by himself. This is all interesting to radio people or broadcast people. It may not be interesting to you. But LaGreca has done this Busted Open radio for a long time. And he's always had on guests from all different companies. AEW, TNA, Indies, WWE, of course, and all these different companies were represented. Well, recently the WWE has bought this channel or has paid Sirius XM to take control of this channel that's on XM radio or Sirius XM radio. I think it's 153 or something like it's Fight Nation or it's something fight related. They used to have UFC stuff on there, but since it's gone full to a full pro wrestling talk. And Jonathan Coachman had a show on this channel. Different people had a show. But anyway, the WWE has taken over this channel. I guess they bought it from Sirius or bought that time slot from Sirius or I don't know how radio works. Real radio. I don't know how it works, even though I was in it for a time. But anyway, the concern is that now Dave's sold out and he'll only have WWE people and will only toe the WWE line, which there's something to that. There's something to be said about that. But the good news for people like me, little old small time no have nothing nickel and dimers, what Bobby Hayden used to call ham and eggers. That may open up the door for guests who are otherwise accompanied, like people from TNA or Impact or whatever else is out there, the NWA, whatever else is out there, AEW. They may now be, more available to come on to little nickel and dime shows like this, because WWE is not hardly going to sit by and just let La Greca bring on AEW talent and talk to Tony Khan and people like that who he's had on his show in the past. So I say all that to say that there may be a light at the end of the tunnel for this at least show, because again, it is hard to get guests. It's sometimes like more difficult than it should be. And I want to continue this thing. I really do. I feel like it serves a purpose. Cruiser and Wanda's over in the YouTube chat. Lace is in the Facebook comments asking where's everybody at. Cruiser and Wanda are over there. Lace, if you want to jump into the control room, I could get you up real quick to do a quick talk about the gathering event if you want to. If not, that's fine. I had sent you a message, Lace. I'm talking directly to Lace throughout my international podcast here. But anyway, it's interesting. We'll see how it goes, and I want to continue this thing. I really do. I enjoy doing it, and I hope you enjoy what I put out there to you. I know last week's show was a travesty. I will take the blame for that, even though it wasn't all my fault, and it wasn't. But last week's show was bad. If you missed it, you didn't miss anything. In fact, we had to go short because it was some problems with some pre-planned things that didn't happen. But anyway, whatever. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about super quick. And, yeah. Let's see what I had here. I think we may hold off on that one for another time. Okay. All right. Tell you what. That's twice Wanda said that Lace don't carry her telephone. I don't understand that. I don't. What does that mean? Everybody has a telephone glued to their hand. I'm sitting here looking at mine while I'm talking to you. I don't know what that means. And if Lace is not carrying her telephone, why would you not have your phone with you in the minute that we're doing? While we're doing the middle of a show that you're a part of? It makes me want to rip my hair out. What little I have left. I want to end up looking like Cruiser. God forbid. All right. Enough. Quick break. We'll bring up the big old Deon interview. Again, few little technical issues. Us being the world heavyweight champions of technical issues. There are a couple of times you'll hear me ask Deon if he's on if he's on his Wi-Fi or whatever. And because there's some droppings, sometimes we lose communication, and sometimes, and I think throughout the thing there may be a problem with the audio, but it's still a good interview, it's still a good listen. It's an hour long, so I hope you enjoy it, and I'll come back here after the big Deon interview, and we will close out the show with, of course, the one thing we can't live without here at the big old program is our most ridiculous item of the week, and that'll be coming up at the end of today's self-same broadcast. Quick break. When we come back, we'll have our interview with Deon Johnson, and then we'll close out the show. All right, all that's coming up right after this break, right here on episode 18. Can you believe we've done 18 of these? I have stumbled and fumbled my way through 18 programs, and we'll get on with the rest of this one shortly after this break, right here on Regalwood Rasslin. Stand by. All right, back here on Regalwood Rasslin. We are live right now on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. The YouTube channel, of course, is Wrestle Radio 860, Wrestle Radio 860. The Twitch channel is Regalwood 6969. Facebook is Ricky Regal, R-I-K-K-I-R-E-G-A-L. Rumble and Kick, of course, are Regalwood. And, of course, there's your mascot right there behind me, holding that belt up high like the champion that he is. All right, my guest today on the big show is none other than Deon Johnson. I haven't spoken to Deon in quite some time. We're going to catch up today. We're going to reminisce. We're going to talk about the old days, talk about the new days, and all the days in between. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, the one and only Black Cat Deon Johnson. Deon, how you doing, man?
What's happening, my man? What's going on?
See
you.
It's nice to see you too. It's been a long time, man. It's been
long time.
I think we were talking before the thing, and it's been it's been at least 8 years, maybe longer. What you been up to, man? I know you're still busy, and I know you're still doing the damn thing, but tell me what's been going on with you since last we spoke.
Man, just still trying to hang back, trying to stay relevant. I started a wrestling school called the Future Factory. It was here at my location at my house, but we just here in the past couple of weeks moved it to Bowling Springs, and we trained there on Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings.
So I want to talk to you.
It's called the Foothills Future Factory.
Foothills Future. Okay. I want to talk to you some more about that in a little bit. I did see that you were doing that. I see you got several trainees, which is good stuff. And I will say, I mean, obviously, I mean, you've been around a minute, and you know pretty much everything there is to know about this thing. So they couldn't be learning from anybody else, from anybody better. That's for sure. But we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get started. I can't imagine, especially in this audience, that there's anybody who don't know who you are, Deon. But those who may find this, who may not be from this area, tell us a little bit about Deon Johnson and how you came to be in the game of wrestling.
I was just a poor boy from the projects with a dream. I was 14 years old when I got started, which was in 1990. J.W. Steele, Larry Headlocks.
Yep.
His daughter was in my class, and I found out that her dad was a wrestler, and I stuck to her like glue until finally I met up with him. And then, hey, boy, you think you can do this? I said, well, we're going to give it a shot. And that's when he brought me to you guys.
I will tell you that Larry, JW, was he was something else. I remember when we first met him. This goes back. I think we started in '88, and I think we met Larry a year or so after we got in. And you know, back then, like now, everybody's jacked up and everybody's swollen and all that stuff. But back then, especially on the indie scene, that wasn't very common.
No, not at all.
Especially when we started, there was people like Jerry Hall with that big beer gut and fat belly, and Cowboy.
Right.
Cowboy, who always stayed in shape, but he wasn't muscular. He wasn't, he
had that old barrel. Cowboy had that old barrel. How about you remember the Candyman Art Bradley?
Oh, yeah. Had the sweet and sour on his nipples.
Yeah. Yes.
But when we met Larry, he looked like a legitimate road warrior. I mean, he looked the part like nobody else in this area. Remember, he had the long blonde hair, and he was built. I mean, who would you like he was built like back then? He probably maybe like a Nikita or something like that.
Yeah, very close to it. Very close to it. He did not look like everybody else that I saw.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah, he was different, and he certainly had the look, and of course his partner Blade Doolittle. What was his first name? Was it Rick?
Rick Doolittle.
Rick Doolittle. Rick was a big round rotund guy, but they complemented each other pretty well, and they were some of the first ones that we started working with when we got in back in the day. But Yeah.
Talking about Rick Doolittle.
Yeah.
Some 15 to 20 years later, Rick became mine and Sir Mo's manager in Memphis on Channel 5 TV, and his name was Memphis Slim.
That's awesome. Memphis Slim. And he probably weighed an easy 400, right?
Easy 400.
That's crazy.
Rick was actually with us when we went to Concord to do our ECW tryout and everything. Yeah.
Wow. Rick, he was different too. He was, but I would tell you something. Rick and I actually grew up in the same town, and when we would see Rick, I was a little bit younger than him, and I would see him, and he always had that blonde streak down the middle and all, and walked around town pretty much in gimmick all the time. So Rick was he was something serious. But I tell you right now, that guy knew back then he knew this thing. I mean, he was speaking Carney before we knew what Carney was.
It was a great bumper for a big guy.
Yeah, he could definitely move around the ring. I didn't know that you had met Larry that way, but going back even further than that, what was it that drew you to wrestling? Did you just happen to catch it on TV as a kid, or what drew you in?
Yeah, well, we didn't have cable back then, so I went to my buddy's house, and they were big wrestling fans, and I got to watch it on TBS 605.
Yeah.
Around probably, 82, 83.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Tommy Rich, Junkyard Dog, and Dusty Rhodes, and Jimmy Valiant. I was hooked. I said, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to do it, but that's what I wanted to do.
It's interesting, man. I think most of us of our generation, certainly, that's and in this area specifically, once we saw that NWA, it changed a lot of our lives forever, because when it would come on, I remember it would come on at noon on Saturdays, and then later it started coming on at 6:05 in the evenings, and man, that thing I remember when I first saw it, I was I couldn't have been more than 7, 8, or 9 years old, over at my granddad's house, and it came home, and I was like, what is this? And I immediately just was enthralled. I'm getting some feedback. I don't know if you're using some extra volume there. I'm hearing myself in your. Okay, it's gone now. But for just immediately seeing it, man, it just something clicked in there, and I was like, wow, what is this? And it wasn't until many years later that I was actually able. I never thought I would do it, but many years later, when we met Jerry Halls, when we kind of got broke in. But where did you break in at? Was it down there in Lawrence?
Yeah, I had no idea how I was going to do it. Excuse me?
I said, where did you actually break in at? Was it your first getting into the ring? Where was that?
Lawrence.
Was it in Lawrence?
You remember at Cowboy's house, he had that barn. And had that ring in it. You could only hit it on three sides. The fourth side was against the tin building. The tin building.
That's right. I had actually forgotten about that.
And it would be crazy in there.
I was about to say it would be so hot in there, and you'd feel like you were dying. Hot. You'd feel like you were dying in there, but we wouldn't stop. We just kept going.
Yes. Yeah. And the guys that I first started watching wrestling with, they came with me too to start, and they only lasted one day.
Yeah. It was terrible. I didn't know when they moved out of that barn and into that building down in Lawrence, man, that thing, all of a sudden they'd come up way up in the ranks from one place to the next.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Remember
we got a delay. I don't know what.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a delay, but go ahead.
Preston Leopard. And then what was the guy? They had the mask on. I can't remember. His name was. Oh my God. They wore the mask. Lanny something. But him and Alan Kinsey were mask tag team.
Yeah.
They Preston and Lanny were training when I started.
The first time I remember seeing you, we were at the Lawrence building, and I think we had came in later that day or something, and you were in the ring. I think you might have been in the ring with what was his name? Wayne, Wonderful Wayne. But he wasn't Wonderful Wayne.
Wonderful Wayne McElroy.
He wasn't Wonderful Wayne at first. Who was he at first?
CC Ryder.
Yes. That's
yes,
right.
yes.
CC Ryder. The one thing I'll say about Deon, he has a memory like a steel trap when it comes to wrestling. He knows things.
Oh, I could never forget. I could never forget that, man. Y'all gave me a lesson in life. Not only wrestling, but life. Y'all turned a 14-year-old boy into a grown-ass man real quick.
Well, tell me what you mean by that, because I remember the first time I remember seeing you was in there, and I think you were in with Wayne. And I remember, the main thing I remember, the very first time I remember seeing Deon Johnson was Wayne had whipped you in and went for the backdrop, and you went so high on that backdrop and landed the most perfect back bump out of that backdrop. It was almost, it was like a work of art, and it was so good. It was one of those times when things just slow down, and it seemed like you hung up in the air for like 5 minutes. Of course you didn't, but it seemed like that, and came down. And I remember looking over at Mickey and I'm saying, that kid's good. And from that
those
point,
days are long gone, baby. Cause ain't nobody. I ain't leaving my feet.
I know that's right.
But
yeah.
when I say y'all took a 14-year-old boy and made him into a grown man, I was just a young boy, and y'all were all grown men.
Yeah.
And I go into these dressing rooms now, or for the past 20 years, it's all little boys. There's no grown men.
Yeah.
And what I learned from y'all was to respect this business and treat this business as you would want, as you were a fan.
Yeah.
And K-Fame was still a thing back then.
It was. It really was. And that's the thing too that a lot of people don't realize. And I say it I've said it multiple times here on this very show. When we came up, man, it was old school. It was, that shit still existed back then. And we were told, not we weren't taught, we were told, when you go in that dressing room, you keep your mouth shut, you shake everybody's hand, but you don't speak till you're spoken to. And we lived by that for years, bro. And I mean, and it never went away. And so it was very interesting. It was very interesting to me when I came back in 2008 and we started the Christmas shows there in Lawrence, how much it had changed. And how much guys would just come in and kind of just put their bags down and start doing their own thing. And I was like, what? So I would always go and make it a point to shake everybody's hand and kind of respect the old school. But that thing's going away and with the quickness.
It's not the same anymore. And with my students now, I have to remind myself that they didn't see what I saw.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of come up with a way to give it to them in my way, but for them to realize, okay, they weren't even born when I started wrestling. They don't know who, they don't. I ask them all the time. I tell them, I said, go research this history. Mm-hmm. Who Lou fans or all these guys were. Even hold on. Even when I Jimmy helped, with the show and stuff, they had no clue who Jimmy Valiant was.
Yeah.
And I was shocked.
Yeah. No, it's crazy that so many people.
But it hit me.
We got a delay again. I'm hold on there. You got me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of a delay, and I'm trying to figure out why. You got a good signal on your phone where you are, Deon?
Oh yeah. I'm on my Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. I don't know. There's some kind of little bit
Maybe
delay there.
maybe it's Lace doing her hair.
It could be. We got the people who's watching this can't see Lace, but she's in the control room and she's really working on that hair. She's doing a whole thing.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
my bad, Lace. I didn't mean to rat you out. I didn't know. I thought people could see you.
No, they can't see her. She's not in the on the live feed. But yeah, Deon, it really has changed a lot, man. And how are you trying, as far as, you know, at this stage of the game, how are you trying to preserve that part of it?
I'm just trying to teach. What I teach is fundamentals, footwork, ring presence, and that. And I don't deal with spots and all that stuff because that'll come. I gotta get you to where the people believe. If you don't believe who you are, then the people that pay the money to come see you aren't going to believe who you are. So I have to get that out of them first before I even start teaching them the moves and whys and what not to do. And you know, I got 2 students right now that they probably had their second or third match. And they're doing pretty good.
Let me ask you, since we're talking about your school, let me ask you, do you ever ask the students why they want to do this when they first start?
Yeah.
I think
that's one of the first things I ask them when they come to.
Yeah, go ahead.
And they all have different reasons, and I tell them, you know, if you're trying to make it in this business, it's what you put in it is what you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah. I think that was one of the things that I always appreciated about Brody when he had his school, was that, you know, he would teach them not only all the fundamentals and stuff, but he would also, you know, want to get to the why. Because if you can do this for the wrong reasons, you know, and there seems to be, especially nowadays, it's gotten to where everybody's kind of like, well, I just want to. It's more selfish. Because back in the day, and you know this for a fact, we worked together, and one of the ways that Brody Chase would always teach would be, it's not you versus me, it's not us, you know, me versus you, it's you and me versus them, and by them he would mean they point at the crowd, and
correct.
You know, and so I think that's been forgotten, especially over the last few years, because what's everybody want to do, Deon? They want to get their shit in, right?
Get their shit in.
Yeah. So how do you counter that as far as training?
Well, I try to tell them, because at first they were all gung-ho, well, we want to do this and we want to do that. I said, well, you won't be doing it here. Yeah. I said, because what you see on TV is not what you're going to be doing locally. Yeah. I said, if you got to get over with these people, and it don't matter what you do. You can cut 2 cartwheels and shit in your shirt pocket. If you ain't over, it ain't gonna work.
That's right. That's right. So what are some of the keys you give trainees about how to get themselves over?
They have to have charisma, and that's something I can't teach you.
That's right.
You got to have that it factor. That's something I can't give you.
That's right.
And I tell them, you want to be yourself times 10. Stay true to who you are. And if you believe who you are, the people will believe what you're doing in there.
Yeah. And that's very important. I had last week, let me see, next week I'll have Matt Sells on, and Matt and I were talking about that exact same thing. And, you know, once I learned that my most relatable character was just me amped up to 11. Once I learned that, it clicked, and I'm like, oh, now it makes sense, because you can be any gimmick in the world. When we first started, And I know when you first came in, you were the Stone Cold Kid. When we first started, we thought we were a hybrid of the Road Warriors and the Rock and Roll Express. We didn't have the size of one, and nor did we have the talent of the other. So it didn't make sense. And it wasn't until several years in that we kind of learned who our characters were. And when we changed our names to Ricky Regal, Mickey Free, all of a sudden, okay, this is just us, but amped up to the next level. And that's why. Do you remember that guy, Law, worked up at HBW? Super Law, a Lau Case, I think was his name.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I never had a problem with that guy, but I never understood his gimmick. And I don't think he understood his gimmick. And I would ask him, one time because his gimmick was Law, L-A-W, and then he would go by, and then later he became Super Law. And so I'm thinking this is some kind of maybe cop gimmick or something like that. But he would wear these weird makeup, like face paint, but it didn't kind of like have any rhyme or reason to it. I'm not crapping on the guy. I'm just telling you the facts.
Right.
And then he had this weird gear that he would wear. So I just asked him straight away. I was like, "What's your gimmick? What does all this mean?" And he goes, "Well, I'm just me." I didn't buy it. And so if I'm not buying it, why do you expect anybody else to buy it? So gimmicks are fine. Gimmicks are fine, and you all got to have a gimmick, but at the same time, you got to find you inside that gimmick, if that makes sense.
Right. Yep.
Because
I for me, I always had charisma coming up as a kid.
Yeah.
But in wrestling, I chose 3 guys. That was Jimmy Valiant, Junkyard Dog, and Dusty Rhodes. I took a piece of every one of them and made it my own.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. And I told you this when we were doing the Christmas shows in Lawrence. As a babyface, you're untouchable. I mean, nobody's going to deny that. I mean, you've gotten over everywhere you've gone with the babyface stuff, but your heel stuff. I've always been. I've loved following heels. I've always been a heel. I mean, I'm more comfortable in that role, and I enjoy that role, and I enjoy people who do good. But when we were doing that stuff, your heel stuff was so good, and it would make me physically angry because I didn't think of it before you did. Some of the stuff you would do, and so I mean, it's like you said, and you're right. You can't teach charisma. You can't teach tapping into that part of you that is a showman. And somehow you have mastered to be able to do that from both the babyface and the heel side. And I've always respected that about your work, man, because it is amazing.
And I love being a heel. I just don't like the bump anymore because that hurts now.
It hurts a lot. It really does. I remember you doing the Sheik gimmick down there in Lawrence, and it was great because you had come in as the babyface a couple of years before that, and then we had moved into some other stuff, and we had a military show, the Tribute to the Troops or whatever. And so naturally, we were right in the middle of one of those Desert Storms or whatever.
Conflicts.
Yeah, conflicts, right. And so what do? We put you under the Abdullah stuff.
Right, yeah. We went to Walmart and got some sheets. All kind of stuff, yeah.
But it was
me and Bit Barber, my buddy, God rest his soul.
Bit Barber, yep. Y'all came in and did the whole thing, and it was so good. And I remember just watching you and just being physically angry. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that as a heel? Because it was just some of the stuff, and the whole place was literally about to come unglued because you were just doing such a good, effective job as a heel. And
that was a very fun night.
It wasn't fun.
Those shows were very fun.
I remember I used to think that the 2011 show, the Boots vs. Badge, where we did the hardcore spot with me and Chastain, I always thought that was our best show. But I went back recently and I watched that Tribute to the Troop show, and I honestly now think that probably was the better show. It was.
I actually watched me and you in a warehouse working out, getting ready for Chastain, and I was like, when did we shoot that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if you remembered that because we actually went and did we had set it up. Remember where Cowboy used to live down in Lawrence?
Yep.
There's a big giant building. As you turned to go to his house, it was right there on your left. That's where that warehouse was, where we set that ring up. And we had gone in there and we had shot a bunch of preview stuff, and that was for the 2011 show. But yeah, well, and it was shortly after that I brought you in. I think we brought you in after that to the society, which was good stuff. But I know we're going. Deon and I are talking. We're really just having a chat. This is not going to be your normal interview that I would do here on Regalwood Rasslin, because I pretty much known Deon since I started in this thing, and he met us very early into his too. So we're kind of just reminiscing. It's not going to be the normal Q&A kind of thing. We're just kind of going to tell some stories as we go. But it's fun having you on, Deon. It's fun talking to you again, man. I will tell you, man. I've made a lot of friends in this thing, and I've lost a lot of friends in this thing, and I'm glad that you and I were able to see our path clear. You know what I mean? Because I have missed you, and I miss talking to you, and it, I understand that this is a business, and I understand that things get misunderstood, and when there's not communication, I understand all that. But time is something we can't get back. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
And it's just, I'm glad that if it took this platform to get us back together, then I'm happy that at least have done that.
Exactly. I mean, because, like I said, you, Berman, all you guys mean so much to me, because y'all didn't have to help me. Y'all could have threw me to the wolves, but y'all didn't. Y'all took time and helped me. Cruiser.
Yeah.
I owe that to y'all.
Well, that means a lot, and I do appreciate it. I mean, you don't get a lot of that, what we used to call respect, and anymore.
Right.
And so I do appreciate you saying that. It was fun. We were all just, basically we're all just kids having fun. And I've always said, and I said it in other interviews, if I know in my case, certainly I can't speak for anybody else, but if I would have taken it maybe a little bit more seriously, I could have done some different things, because I had an opportunity, with Jimmy to go down to work out at the power plant. Didn't go, because at that time, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, the wrestling was ancillary to the party, whereas it should have been the party was ancillary to the wrestling. You know what I mean? And
right.
Because of that, it was just like, we're just going to go out here and have fun. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. But when it became not fun, that's when it was time to separate. So I guess, having said all that, how do you keep it fun as long as you've been around?
Well, let me go back a little further. Me and Mo, when we were in Memphis, we had our opportunity to go, and we did a few house shows. But I looked around, and when it became a job, I didn't like it. I did not like it, because it was a job. It was really how I was feeding my family.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I'm gonna tell you how I keep it, because I feel like I gotta get my fix in every now and again.
Yeah.
Put me on early. Let me leave. Let me get my money.
Yeah.
I don't care if you put me on first match.
Yeah.
But don't make me main event. I don't want to stay there all night.
I don't want to be there all night.
Lace can attest to you. When we're in Pickens, Lace, if you could unmute her, she could tell you about Pickens.
Yeah. Yeah.
How crazy that is.
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
I could not believe it.
Hang on, just.
And it's still that way to the Lace. Tell them how Pickens was. It's crazy.
Hang on. I'm gonna see if I can bring her in real quick. Hang on, Lace. I'm gonna finish fixing your hair. I'm gonna do something we've never done before. I'm gonna have two guests. If I can get her in here, just hang on. Let me see if I can get her in here real quick. This wasn't planned, so stand by here. Let's see if we can get Lace in. May take a minute to get her set up there.
And I'm 50 years old, Rick. I'm 50 years old.
Yeah. That's got it. Hang on.
So
I put it in the wrong one. Hang on. Go ahead, Deon.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm go ahead and tell the story while I'm getting Lace in.
If the people keep chanting your name when you're not even in the ring, or not even had your match yet, and while the other guys are in the ring working, they're chanting my name, It's not my fault.
That's right. That's right.
It's not, like Jimmy Garvin said, it's not my fault.
It's not my fault. That's right.
Get over. All I can tell you is get over.
There's a lot to be said for that. All right. So let me see. Give me just a second here. I think I've got Lace about dialed in here. Lace, if you can put your brush down for 2 seconds, we're gonna bring you in here and get you into this conversation. Lace, for those of you who don't know, Lace has been around about as long as we have. Lace, she's another one of those vampires who never ages. But welcome to the program, the lovely and talented Lace, who's been there with a lot of these crazy stories that we're telling. And welcome to the show, Lace.
Hey.
Hey. So Deon was telling us some story about Pickens. Go ahead with that.
You want me to answer?
Yeah. He said I have to ask you about it.
Okay.
What was the experience when you came to Pickens?
It's probably maybe the only time I'm sorry, I don't have a voice from the weekend. The only time since I've been just kind of visiting the shows that I literally went up to someone and said something. And I tracked Deon down. I said, I need to speak to you. And he stood up and was like, what's wrong? I said, do you not hear them? They're saying, what, Deon still got it? He still got it. He still got it. And then the next time, it was his birthday, and I started just to sing happy birthday. And the whole freaking crowd stood up, sang happy birthday twice. And Deon kept trying to leave the ring, but when he turned around and come back, they go, happy birthday to you. He still got it.
That's awesome.
And I mean, I'm talking about good or bad, who they liked. They were chanting that. And it was just like, I told him, I was like, he's I'm not meaning either. Like the oldest guy on the card there at that place that night. And he's got them on their feet hollering, he still got it. And I thought they had been doing that for a long time, but that just came out of the blue that night.
It certainly is.
It's a great show over there. American Wrestling.
I never heard that. He still got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jimmy and Gavin and Casey, they do
Casey Leanne and all them. They are so sweet to me.
They do a great job over there.
Well, that's awesome. We're gonna drop Lace back out. Lace, thank you for that little update there on Deon's story. Let me see if I can go back to what we had. But yeah, Deon, I'll tell you, man, it's very interesting because, like I said, just the fact that you're able to get over in no matter where you are. I mean, it does speak to your longevity and to what you've done, you know, in this business, man. And I appreciate you because I know that you've worked hard to cultivate what you've done. Shit, I messed that up really bad.
At least I'm still hanging out.
Yeah, I know I messed up something. I took the wrong thing.
That's fine.
So
everybody knows me.
So, but yeah, I do.
Love you, Deon.
See if we can.
You know I love you, girl.
I know. See, I've known y'all more than half my life.
Yeah, it has been a lot of a long time. So, Deon, moving on here. And I tell you, we are really messing up. We're going to Christmas. We're going everywhere.
Yeah, I see that Christmas everywhere.
I know. Yeah, we got Christmas. We got it all. So yeah. But Deon, getting back to some of the things that I know we've talked about, the training center. What brought you to get that thing going? What was the impetus behind that?
I don't know if you really want to know.
Sure I do.
It's kind of taboo at this point. There was this wrestler that a certain wrestler who was rich.
Okay.
Wanted to train his
a wrestler who was rich.
Wrestler.
Yeah, I ain't never heard of such of a thing.
well, this guy was rich.
Uh-huh.
And he wanted to train his son.
Okay.
To wrestle, but he did not have a building Which he could have rented one. He could have had one built because the motherfucker got money.
Hey, whoa, hey.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Hold on for 1 second. Yes, he wanted to train his son.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, well, I got a building at my house.
Okay.
That you can put this ring in if you buy one.
Okay.
It's in the world. I heard it's in the world.
So he buys a ring, sight unseen.
Oh my.
Sight unseen.
That ain't smart.
And has it delivered to my house.
Oh my good Lord.
So the sellers of the ring, we set it up in the building. And I said, ooh, this thing is kind of tall. I got to get these posts chopped down. So I called this certain benefactor.
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, I need a welder out here. We got to cut this thing down before we can do any training in it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Whatever, no matter what it costs, get it done.
Yeah.
Got it done. Do you know that benefactor and his son never set foot on my property?
Oh my good Lord. This is another Ric Flair mysterious benefactor thing, huh?
Yeah, and you know who this benefactor is, because I'm not gonna out him all the way.
Yeah.
But he was a franchisee at Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I know exactly.
And he got himself in a little pickle.
Yeah, had a few legal problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I reached out to his son because I would never probably hear from him ever again.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to his son. I said, look, if he needs this ring, it's his ring. If he needs to sell it to get him some legal fees, then hey. And so his son reaches back out to me. He said, Dad says that ring is yours. I said, well, I'll be damned.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what the Future Factory started from that.
Wow. I did not know that. That is that's something. I had no idea about any of that.
Never paid a dime for that 16-foot ring.
Where did he get it? How did he have it?
Cruiser and Boomer brought it. He bought it from them.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I know. We're not going to talk too much because I don't know the extent of his situation. I know that it was me neither. It was a little rough, but
terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
Terrible.
And if there's any truth to it,
I have been around that guy just as long as I've been around y'all.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought that.
I would have never thought it either. In fact, it would never have occurred to me. I know we're kind of talking in code here, but I didn't know what Deon's talking. Is telling me about his how he came to be in possession of the ring in his school and stuff. But suffice to say, it was some pretty serious legal entanglements that this certain individual came into. And if they were true, then he's where he needs to be. And if not, then maybe that'll all sort itself out in the future. But right. be that as it is, Deon. How's it? And I know we joke about being older and all that stuff, which I know that I'm done. I know that I've taken my last bump. But how do you feel as far as health wise and still out there doing the thing? I mean, are you still good, or do you feel like your bump card's starting to fill up a little bit?
I had ended up with diabetes, and that scared me.
Yeah.
So the doctor gave me some magic juice to help me with my blood sugar. So I started working out with it, and I melted 150 pounds away.
Yeah. You lost a ton of weight. You did.
So now I'm back at the weight of back really when I started. I'm 205 pounds.
Stone Cold Kid.
All over again. But these old bag of bones, every show.
Yeah.
I'm good on Saturday. But on Sunday when I wake up, I feel like crap.
Yeah. Yeah, you can certainly tell it. I started, and Brody said something when I had him on. I don't know if did you see the Brody interview?
Yes.
Yeah, Brody said something that was so profound and really, really, I'd never thought about it the way. But he said something in his interview that he had watched some tape of himself, and he just looked a little step slower, and that's when he knew he was done. So, and, you know, I never. What my breaking point was it was hurting too bad. Like everything, like today, like just every day is there's pain. Because you remember me back in the day, I would take those backdrops on the concrete. And back then, you know, you're Superman. It don't hurt. Nothing hurts when you're a kid.
Right.
You know, and they would say, well, you know, that's going to come back to bite you one day. And by God, they were right. So
I'm at that point right now. I'm at that point right now.
I hate to be the old man, you know, but I try to tell these guys, look, y'all are taking all these fantastic, like the kid in AEW, what's the paints half his face, Darby Allin. I don't know how that kid's gonna make it to 30, Deon. Honest to God, I don't.
They're crazy. They're crazy.
I mean, when
there's no amount of money
there's not
that you could give me to make me do that to myself.
Well, here's the thing about that too, Deon, and everybody talks about how crazy he is and how much he literally wants to. It looks as though he wants to die in the ring from some of the stuff he does. But my question though is, he had all that time with Sting, and Sting. I mean, Sting is a Mount Rushmore at this point. I mean, he's a legend. I don't know why Sting didn't try to have that conversation with him, or maybe he did, but
he probably did. But these kids now, they think this shit gonna last forever, and it ain't.
I just don't know how a man can think that flying off the top of a 17-foot ladder that's already in a 6-foot ring, so you're over 20 feet, flying through the air, unprotected through glass to the floor. I don't know how you think you're gonna last forever. I really don't.
Right.
I mean,
and then turn around and kick out on one.
Kick out on one. I mean, it's shameful, and I don't understand why that's. Who, number one, okayed that? What agent said, okay, yeah, that's a smart thing to go and do? And number two, why nobody said no? You just no.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's scary.
It's something bad, really. Something's going to happen really bad, and I don't wish it, but it's going to happen. They keep doing this crazy stuff, and I see these botchamania things on Facebook, and I'm like, why are they even doing that?
Well, it's like my most ridiculous item of the week that I run every week on this very show. At the end of the show, I always end up with the most ridiculous, and 99% of them are them people doing that crazy stuff, and I don't know what the payoff is. And the worst part of it, Deon, I can even look past them doing the crazy stuff if you're in front of 20,000 people. But they're doing it in front of 2 or 3, if that. The last one I showed a couple of weeks ago was nobody was in the building.
Yeah, this is awesome. I hate that.
It's not awesome. Seeing somebody die in the ring is not awesome, and I feel like that's what it's going to take for it to at some point be like, okay, enough is enough. And I don't know, you know, I don't know where the breaking point is or where the cutoff is, because as you and me both know, that bump card is limited. You know,
exactly. I learned that from Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton told me, he said, "Look, sell like you're going to the hospital." Arm bar, baby. Yeah.
I mean, it's smart. It's just, that's smart working.
He's what, 68, 69 years old?
Still doing it.
That's how he still gets to do what he does.
Yeah. A lot of these kids will not be around. I said something on one, and let me just see if you agree with this. I said something on one of my shows previous. We did one of those crazy, most ridiculous, and it was somebody flying off. I think it was about the Darby thing where he went off the ladder through the glass onto the floor. And then we talked about Mick Foley, who people still talk about the Hell in the Cell spot, and it's going on, 20 plus years later, if not more or longer. And people still talk about that because it was, number one, it was rare. And number two, it was so massive that you almost couldn't believe what you were seeing. But who's still talking about the Darby Allin thing? I mean, that week maybe. You know, and you maybe got your holy shit chant or your this is awesome chant, but once that's gone, nobody will be talking about that 20 years from now. I don't believe they will.
No. And Mick Foley, look how he looked. He
Yeah.
did what he had to do to get over.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, he did some crazy stuff, but he lived to wrestle another night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got these guys that weighing $180, $160. They're damn near gonna kill themselves trying to get the holy shit chance on. This is awesome chance.
Yeah.
No, you can get it other ways. You can work and get that.
You would think that you would be able to work to get to that end, but instead it's just like, how big can we go tonight, and how much can we, defy death? But
that's the problem.
I think
the work part of it's gone.
The work part's gone.
The work part of it's gone. Nobody knows how to work anymore.
That's right. And I think if you go back, and this is the last thing I'll say about that. I think if you go back to anybody who was in the building the night of the Owen Hart thing, when Blue Blazer fell from the rafters and died in the ring, and it was brought up in Jeff Jarrett's behind the dark side of the ring thing. You go back to anybody, fans, wrestlers, anybody who was a part of that night, nobody wants to see anybody die in the ring. No, nobody does.
Nobody. Nobody.
And that's where we're leading with this Darby Allin stuff. And I would suggest to him, and I know he don't need my advice. The guy's on TV making his money, God bless. But I would just suggest to him to maybe go back and look at that and think, this could be you, kid. And by God, it most likely will be, So.
And that's why I teach my kids. It ain't all about that. It's learn to work. And it'll be so easy.
It seems like common sense, right? That just learn to work. But why would I guess the shortcut of taking those ridiculous bumps and going out and putting your life in danger and getting those chances is the payoff for the moment instead of the long run.
Right.
And that's kind of a sad state of affairs. Business has changed a lot since we started, Deon. I mean, like you said, there was kayfabe when we started. It was still a real thing. That's gone. I was reading an article today, and I know, and I know this is kind of an aside, but I was reading an article just today, and a news guy was writing an article about, I forget what it was, some match that was coming or whatever. And the news guy, who is not related to wrestling in any way, shape, or form, right, has no relationship to it other than writing about it, was using, babyface, heel, kayfabe, angles, all these words that it took us years to learn what they even meant. But now it's just common knowledge. So my thing was frustrating to me, and I asked this to a lot of my guests, is there a way back? And I just don't think that there is. What do you think?
I don't think there is. What gets on my nerves the most of all is if I'm sitting back there and we're all crammed up in this one room or a little hallway or something, you're trying to put your stuff on, and then you got these guys wrestling their match in the back.
Yes. Yeah.
Stumbling over, I'm trying to lace my boots up and they're tripping over me, and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why are y'all doing this back here?
Right.
Created out there.
Right.
I said, because y'all are taking the people out of it when you're back here. I said, what happens when something don't work out with y'all that are playing back here? What you gonna do then?
Yeah. Right.
They don't want. And my thing is, if we could all, and I know this couldn't happen now because they would use their cell phones or whatever to talk to each other.
Yeah.
If we could all be in separate parts of the building.
Yeah.
And you only saw each other when you got in the ring.
Yeah, I think.
What would they do?
Yeah, I brought that up to somebody a while back about that exact same thing, and my dog is running me nuts over here. If that's what you hear. But I brought it up to that exact same comment that you just made. That it would be cool. How would you figure it out if you had to go from separate dressing rooms and go in the ring and figure it out? But you're right. They'd be on their phones. They'd be FaceTiming, running spots over the daggum iPhone in the back. So,
which is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I would see that stuff at some of my shows in Lawrence, and I would see the guys in the back, and they would literally be doing, okay, you'll reverse me. And they would do the reverse. You can tell me to reverse you, and I know what that means. We don't have to go through it physically right here in the back, But it's just a difference in I guess, training and the way people were brought up.
I've seen them back there drop kicking and leapfrogging. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah. It's madness, and I don't understand how it got so far out there. Deon, we've been going almost an hour, bro, and we haven't even scratched the surface of some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. And I'll have you on again in the future. But shut up, dog! This dog is driving me nuts. But
on the next episode, we'll definitely get down and dirty.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about, and one of the things that I really wanted to get into today, but we're so short on time, was your massive memory when it comes to this thing. And I remember you were telling, just a quick story. We were in the dressing room one time, and somehow Rufus Jones came up, and you know exactly what I'm gonna say about the Rufus.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't believe you. I said, "There's no way you believe you remember that." And I said, "There's no way," because what it was, and just tell it real quick. What the Rufus R. Freight Train Jones thing? Tell it real quick.
Just put it this way: the old man made me proud.
What's the R stand for?
Well, it definitely he says it stands for guts.
Yes. And I was like, there's no way Rufus R. Jones said in the promo, my name is Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, and the R stands for guts. And you told that exact thing in the dressing room. I said, there's no way he said that. Yeah. And you said, yes, he did. Yes. So what did I do? I left and I went and looked it up. And by God, it's out there on the internet. He said the R stands for guts.
The R stands for guts, baby.
And I'm like, how do you remember that stuff? But that's just a little bit. I mean, you remember things from way back in the day, and your knowledge is encyclopedic when it comes to wrestling history and stuff like that. And that's always amazed me.
The stuff that's on television now, I don't watch it. I don't watch it. But I'll go on YouTube and pull up some old Mid-Atlantic, old World Class, old Mid-South. That stuff's golden, man. And if these young kids will go back and watch that, what's old is new.
Yeah. Yeah, because it hadn't been done in so long. I mean,
right.
I patterned my entire retirement match with Ricky Chastain and Lawrence against on the Tully and Magnum TA I Quit match. That whole match was based on that match. I mean, and because it was an homage to them, and out of pure respect for that thing that again, that's better than 40 years old, and it still holds up to this day. I defy you. Right. I defy you to go and watch that match today and not believe that everything that went on in that match is 100% a shoot, because it is so well done. Right. So well done.
Because they believed it. That's why it resonated with us, because they believe. And that's what's wrong now. The believability is gone.
It's gone. It's 100% gone. But Deon, man, I know we were kind of all over the place, but this is basically Deon and I catching up after not having had a real conversation in many, many, many years. And so I know this interview is different. I know it's kind of a different way we went about it today, but it's fun to catch up with you. It's good to tell some of these old stories and remember some of these things. Before I get you out of here, Deon, tell us what you got coming up. I know that now 2 days from now, you're going to be in Abbeville, and I think I'm going to be there with you, so it'll be good to see your face live in person. Tell us about what's going on over in Abbeville Sunday. That's after tomorrow.
Well, first off, August 1st, Saturday, I'll be in Mooresboro for APW Underground. Okay. But then Sunday, Headlocks for home runs, I'm going to be in the Winner's Choice Battle Royal, and hopefully I can win that thing.
Do we know what the purse is? Do we know what the pay window is on that?
You get to choose which title you get to, either WrestleForce or OSCW or APW, whichever championship you get to challenge for. I think that's what the winner gets.
Oh, that's cool. I'll tell you, man. Hoss has really put the effort in on this thing, and I told Hoss when I had him on that from having promoted a show like that for the charity for the years that we did it down in Lawrence, I know what it takes to do that, and I know it's a lot of hard work, but I feel like that thing's going to be successful because he's put the work in. I mean, he's gone out and worked the town. He's been on radio. In fact, they've had radio all this week over there in Abbeville pushing that thing. So I wish you nothing but success, and I think it's going to be a successful event.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be because Abbeville have a rich history of pro wrestling back in the day. Ultra Wrestle was there. We did very well with that. And the Hoss had something to do with that. But yes, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing you come out and lace as well. So we just catch up and hug and love on one another.
Yeah, it'll be fun to catch up with some of the guys. I haven't seen a lot of people in a long time, so I'm kind of looking forward to it myself. It's been a minute since I've been to a live event. In fact, I know that it's been at least 10 years because the last one I went to was in 2016 down right there in Lawrence at my last event I did. So yeah, it'll be fun to get back out there and see some of the guys, see you and catch up. And but man, look, tell everybody how to get a hold of Deon Johnson. Tell us what your how to get a hold of you and what dates you got coming up besides these next two.
You can hit me up on BLK Cat Johnson on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can go to the Future Factory Pro Wrestling Academy page on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, I think. Yeah, and my Cash App is Black Cat Johnson if you want to send me some money.
Send me a couple dollars.
Send me a couple dollars, baby.
Hey, before I get you out of here, have you talked to Mickey Free lately?
I have messaged him actually a couple of months ago, just shooting the bull with him and see how he's doing. And he seems to be doing good. He's got a lovely wife and
he does.
Cute little dog.
Yeah. He does. I keep hoping against hope that he'll eventually want to come on here and we can tell some really old stories. And I keep threatening to have this round table of kind of the old school guys. That would include you and of course Mickey and Brody and whoever else wants to be a part of it.
We're gonna save that one story when we were in this house after the show, SCW show up in the mountains.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know.
We're gonna save that till when Mickey comes on.
I don't know that we can tell that on this particular. That's one of those stories that we tell in the back rooms over a couple of beers. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think about the guy that went out and got that smoke machine? What's he been doing here lately?
It's canceling shows, from what I understand.
He went to jail too, didn't he?
Oh my good lord! Well, there's always carnies, man. Carnies and rubes, right? Carnies and rubes.
You gotta believe it. I'm telling you, man. When you try to warn people,
yeah,
they don't want to listen. They have to find out for themselves.
They got to find out for themselves. That's right, Deon. They have to find out for themselves. Man, listen, it's good to catch up with you. It's good to see your face. It's good to chat with you again. And I will see you day after tomorrow over in Abbeville. And let's do this again, man. Let's have you back on.
Yes, please. We're going to cut some promos for this Regalwood Rasslin on Sunday, okay?
Sounds great to me, man. We'll definitely get it done. All right. That is my friend Deon Johnson. It is good to see him out there still doing the thing and with his school and all that stuff. And it's just it's good to catch up, man. Time and circumstance sometimes takes people on different paths, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. You forge friendships, you forge relationships in this thing, and wrestling, as we all know, man, people have had vicious heat and they've gotten back together and made a lot of money together. And they've become friends again, and not that Deon and I ever had any vicious heat. We've had our challenges, but everybody has. But this thing has offered me. I think when I did the AMA show some weeks ago, somebody asked, what's the one thing that you've lost and gained in this, or what are some of the things that you've lost and gained in this business? And quite frankly, the answer then and is now friends. I've lost a lot of friends, I've gained a lot of friends, but the key word in that is friends. And I think that's something that matters, and I think that's something that will remain no matter what the circumstance may be. All right, that's enough out of me. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from the jump, we're going to have our most ridiculous item of the week, and we'll wrap this thing up. And that's all coming up next, right here on Regalwood Rasslin. Stand by. history and what he's done and what he's still plans to do. Long one today, I know that, so we're going to, I'm not going to belabor this much longer. I do have our most ridiculous that I think you'll, it meets the criteria, let's just put it like that. Missy Childers is over there in the chat in Facebook and says she would like to come on and talk about her show she's got coming up in September, and I'm sure we can facilitate that, Missy. We could probably record something with you, kind of like we did with Hoss at the beginning of the day's show. You kind of run it down for us. If you missed any of today's show, it'll be live immediately following this this broadcast. It will go up live on YouTube. If you missed any or the either the interview or any of the stuff that came before, we talked to Hoss Haygood. We had him in earlier in the show. I wanted to have Lace in, but we're already almost at 2 hours, so maybe we'll do Lace can come in and tell us about the gathering next week. Next week's Thursday. I do have a guest lined up. I'll announce that this coming week. It's a very good interview. One of my favorites that I've done since I've been doing this. Really interesting guy. Really, I think you'll enjoy it. I certainly did. And in that hour, it was an hour, a little over an hour actually, and it went by like 5 minutes. So I think you'll enjoy it. I certainly did. And I'm looking forward to broadcasting that to you next week right here on Regalwood Rasslin. That'll be on episode 19, and that'll be Thursday of next week at 3 p.m. All right, real quick, our most ridiculous item. I'm going to set it up for you just a little bit here. This is one of the bushwhackers or sheep herders, whichever you prefer. I'm not sure if this is Luke or Butch. He is a WWE Hall of Famer. He was in the ring. This most ridiculous comes from a wrestler named Anth Cava. Anthcava. He's a wrestler. He's got a good look. I don't know anything about him. I just happened across this because my algorithms are ridiculous now. I got nothing wrong with Anth Cava. Sure, he's a great guy. And they do a spot here with Luke or Butch, whichever. And it's embarrassing. It's shameful, and I don't know if I were Anth Cava, I would have been a party to this. But anyway, without further ado, here is our most ridiculous item of the week. Let me get myself out of the way here, and so you can enjoy the full. This is minute 18. Enjoy it if you will. You think that was bad, you haven't seen the worst of it. Here it comes now. You ain't prepared. I certainly wasn't. This is a Hall of Famer. This is a WWE Hall of Famer. Did it not go out? Let me see. Did it not go out? Cruiser's saying that it didn't go out. It didn't go out live. Maybe, let me see if I can get caught up here. It's showing up on the YouTube screen, Cruiser. I've seen it on my feed. I don't know. I've seen it on my feed of I'm running a feed of YouTube right now, and I see it over there. So it is going out. I don't know why you're not seeing it. But anyway, if you didn't see that, I apologize. But trust me, you're probably better off from having the nightmare. Okay, did you see the whole thing? Did you see the entire little run there, start to finish? I'd hate to run that again. Again, I don't know this Anth Cava. He's got a good look. He's got professional gear on. No problem with any of that. I'm not sure which one of those bushwhackers that is, or sheep herders if you prefer. But there comes a time when it's just sad, you know, when it's just sad, and that to me was sad. I mean, it's ridiculous and it meets all the criteria, but a WWE Hall of Famer, you know, and this is what we're reduced to, I guess, in our as the days wane. Cruiser said it was delayed. Okay, well, you know, again, heavyweight, the undisputed, undefeated champion of technical difficulties resides right here, and we're going to work that into our opening promos or our or something, because yeah, we definitely own that title. Thanks for everybody for joining me today. It is this was episode 18. 19's next week again on Thursday, 3 p.m. when we'll bring you more I'm sure problems and situations and occurrences and whatever else. But we'll come back. We'll try it again. Work in progress. You know, we get through these as best as we can. If you missed any or all of today's program, it will replay immediately over on the YouTube channel, so you can peruse it at your leisure. You can watch it over there anytime you want. They sit over there in perpetuity. That's Wrestle Radio 860, Wrestle Radio 860 on the YouTube. That's our things of all things, home of all things Regal. Twitch, Regalwood 6969, Ricky Regal, of course, on Facebook, RIKKI. And don't forget to like and subscribe to that the Regalwood Rasslin Facebook page, because you get all the show updates and all the news, and sometimes we'll post other stuff up there. Also on the Regalwood Rasslin Facebook page, it's linked to all of my Ricky Regal pages and all that stuff. And of course, Rumble and Kick are Regalwood, and of course, there's your mascot, the big buff bulldog. All right, that's going to wrap it up for another successful mess. Don't forget about the big show over in Abbebille Sunday, as WrestleForce presents Headlocks for Home Runs. Big event over there. And if you missed the first part of the show, Hoss Haygood was on, and he ran down the card and talked about who all was going to be over there. Lots of national and international talent will be landing in Abbeville on Sunday. So if you're anywhere near this area, you might want to make it over there and check that out. It's going to be a big show. All right, that's going to do it for this one. We'll try it again next week. It's always a work in progress. I'll be announcing our show guest for next week, and I think you'll enjoy that. Even if you're not familiar with the guy, you'll really enjoy